How y'all doing out there? I I'm not going to keep you long, but I just want to discuss something. Um, it it really it's been on my mind. I went to John Adams today. Um, I want to thank Lonnie Sloan on 100 Black Men. There were about eight total 10. I think two individuals worked there. About 10 men from 100 Black Men. Fast Realty and Nate, a couple of the guys that from the class of 1977 and John Adams. Shout out to 1977. You guys definitely showed up, and that was appreciative. Um, the church over on 116, forgive me, ma'am, or minister, I did not get your card, so I can't give you um, the shout out that you do need, but it was a lot of ladies and men that were there. And I watched Lonnie, he had these cards printed up. I don't know if you can see it, but we care. I mean, he took the time to go out and do that. That guy, man, he he just came all the way in. I want to say what's up to Brian Evans. He's the principal there. Okay, so we went there today to show support for some of the to some of the young men and women that I think they recently had came back today regarding an incident that had happened there. A young man was shot in the bus stop. Um, if I'm understanding this correctly, the principal and a few teachers they actually witnessed it. And I was standing there and I was watching everybody, and it was roughly maybe about, I think maybe about 15. No, I would say maybe about 25 of us total, somewhere around that number. Channel 5 had showed up briefly, but they set up and they seemed like they were expecting more people. So I guess maybe they said this is not a story, or maybe it is. But this is my concern. This is not unusual in our community. And this has happened before. It happened during my time, and I come from the class of the 70s. This has happened. The problem is the energy that I felt. We were clapping when the students came in. We were saying, we care. And you can see the looks in the students' eye. They was like, yeah, you care today. Today. You can just feel that in the air that they didn't believe it. I don't think a lot of them believed it. Even when we went to the gym, I watched their eyes. I watched the way that they responded to our presence being there. And I was talking to a few people, and it was a couple of people. It was one gentleman in particular. He was there, and he told me he has 14 schools that he travels to make sure that the graduation rate is kept at a certain level, and the attendance is very low there, and that's one of the things that affect their academic skills. Um, John Adams, they just built a new school. And I watched as they came in, beautiful school. And I watched they had, you got to go through a metal detector. And that's just not in that school. Right now, that's become a way of life. And I'm going to ask this: what are we doing? I'm sorry. But this feels wrong. The energy is wrong. It's like we're sacrificing our kids. I can't help but feel the way I do. I have not felt any energy at all since I've left there. It's like I took on all of those spirits of despair. It seems it's weird. I just had to talk about it because I'm hurting, and it's genuine. I am hurting. I'm hurting because I think we let them down. You see, I went to John Adams, and I remember I had some issues just like they had. Maybe not the same, but I didn't know what the future held for me. My environment wasn't the greatest, but it was the support of those that it came out of the civil rights movement. It was supportive. It was an energy in the black community then that wanted to see us succeed, and they were truly concerned. They were gatekeepers. They were black men, black women that was concerned, even though they were not my parents or I was not related to them. There was a connection because we had just came out of a struggle together. What are we doing, man? Where are the gatekeepers now? It was a program called 70,001. It was located on 55th. We used to meet back in the church, and there was a gentleman there again. I know a lot of you that know me, you often hear me talk about this guy. His name was Paul Taylor. And I remember this man, he made an impression in my life. He was a recent college graduate. Paul had just gotten his master's. And he told me later that this was part of a franchise almost that he had, purchased in. And he said because he wanted to change the narrative in his community, he was concerned. I believe that's how it worked. I could be wrong, Paul. Forgive me if I am, because I think Paul is still alive today. Well, I know he is. Okay. But anyway, it was a group of us, and they came from all over the city, Lexington, Huff, all of these different areas. And a lot of them, they were gangbangers. They were thugs, so to speak. But what changed us is two things. He was real. He spoke real. He was concerned. He didn't just show up for picture ops. Now, let me tell you about 70,001. It taught us business. It's taught us how to establish credit. It taught us soft skills, how to do problem solving. I met a lot of good people there, a lot of good women. They came to that program. Still today, I see a lot of those women are also successful, and they came right through that program. Paul was a gatekeeper. There was another gentleman, his name was Lee. He was involved with it too. He was an attorney. And then he had two ladies that was working there as well. Forgive me, their names they slipped me, but each one of them they had a role, and it supported this organization. What are we doing? What are we doing? It seems that we're more concerned with these personality things that we find in each other that prevents us from working together in our community. This person does not like this person because he may have identified a personality quirk that you may have, and all. And the parents they don't associate with each other, and it prevents us from going after a common goal. Let me tell you something: our kids are dying in our community. Now we got community leaders out here. They throw $500 events, and everybody they show up dressed to a T. But you are not making a difference in our community by showing up at an event where you would just lift up grown folks and not realize that our future is being destroyed. And you can say, well, Larry, there's a lot of organizations, and maybe you don't know. I've dealt with a lot of different organizations, and there's a common goal there usually. It's not to embarrass the organization. Don't call out the truth, because if you call out the truth, then you become an enemy and they say you messy. They'll assassinate your name if you speak anywhere from the truth, which it happens quite often to me because I can't help but be concerned. This is not personal. The reason that I want to do this, the reason that I established truth and vision, which is here where I am right now, is because I do care. The same skills and the same programs that help me become a valuable asset in my community, I'm using those things. I need your help, fellas. Hey, listen, I just want people to show up. Help me. Help me save at least, if we don't reach nothing but one or two, maybe that seed can produce another life, which then produce another seed, which then produce another life. What about just trying? Lonnie, you said, and I'm talking to Lonnie Sloan, you said to come after you. I'm coming. I need your help, man. I got this big facility over here. Now here we teach a lot of things from marketing, how to deal with stock, after school programs, latchkey. Let's tell some of these kids about it. What more can I do? I need help. I need ideas. I'm begging, man. Every time I turn around, I don't want to show up at events like that just when there's a problem. Let's be a constant, let's support our school system consistently. Look, a lot of these kids, they are dealing with trauma at home. A lot of these kids are dealing with mental health. A lot of these kids don't see vision. They don't see nobody that truly care. I don't care what no one says. It's everybody's responsibility out there. Everybody, everybody responsible. I'm begging, please, please help me to help some others. And this is not about Democrat. This ain't about Republic. At this point, it's not even about black and white. But even though it's happening mainly in our communities, we need help. It's a shame, but I deal with a lot of black organizations, and they take it personal. There's one organization that when I first opened this establishment, I didn't charge them one dime, not one nickel. They have black in front of their organization that they're supposed to be about the community. And just like them, they tend to want to use you instead of supporting you. They make it more about the organization than the mission and the purpose. I opened up this building, did everything from allowing the storage here, let them get mail here. And then, you know, I went to them after a year and I said, listen, would it be okay if you start paying a little something to help? Because these are the programs I'm trying to do and I need support. I'm going to show you what our organizations do. Not only did they gripe about it, because I asked, they couldn't pay $250 a month. 250. They actually tried to negotiate it down to 150, like I was keeping the money. And they know the supports that I'm trying to do in the community. Now, I'm not here to complain. What I'm saying is this: let's not make this about a hierarchy that we're trying to establish. We need to look low. I see all these organizations, but they don't show up. They don't show up. And y'all know they don't. But see, this is friends of friends. You clicked up here. Then what you do, you're straying an organization that truly, truly do speaks the truth and wants to make a difference because you may not like the person, probably me, because of what I'm saying. So tell you what, I'll step down. I'll let somebody else handle this. It doesn't matter. See, you can accomplish whatever you want as long as you don't mind who gets the credit. And that's what the problem is. Ain't nothing real no more. Everything is false. And don't you think those kids don't notice that? I felt it when they were walking in. We were applauding them. And they looked at us like, yeah, 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 you're here today. What are y'all doing? And then what gets me is this. You always use that as a reason to do what you do. But all they have to do to separate you is to put a title on you. You care more about that title than you care about your purpose for being there. I don't care about a title. Something got to change in our community. This is getting ridiculous. Every time we turn around, we losing kids like they're video games, and they're gonna come back with the nest with the next startup of the game. And nobody truly understand that the main thing a lot of them want is for you to be concerned, for you to love, for you to take the time to listen. Maybe not even say nothing. Just grab your kids, listen to them. I know what some of you guys, some of you parents are dealing with because of the way the economy is. I know you have to work. I know you're trying to keep food on the table and clothing on their backs. Then let us know how we can help. What can we do? And then hold your local politicians accountable. Let's keep it real. Let's not make it about your friends. Let's make it about family structure. Am I asking too much? Are we really that hopeless that we don't see what we are doing to our children? What we are not even what we're doing, what we are allowing our children to do to themselves. Are we really that unconcerned? Are we really that selfish of a people? Maybe, maybe we need to be oppressed again, because that's the only time we have seemed to come together, is when there's pressure on us. That's when we seem to act. Is that what we need? Is that truly what we need? Do we really just need that? What is going on? You wear your suits, you give all these awards out. I'm going to tell you right now, you're fake and you're phony. Now, some of you are making a difference. And if I'm throwing this rock in the crowd, if it hits you, then hey, you're guilty. If it don't, then I'm not talking about you. Make somebody know it. Now, we'll say there's some good programs out here. MyCom is one of them. I think MyCom is doing an excellent job. There's a lot, but that's the organization that I know about. There's another organization that I deal with. It's called I Matter. That's mental health. Okay, that's Janice. She's doing a great job. But it's specific to mental health. MyCom, they support organizations throughout the city. They're trying. They're trying to connect. They have different programs that we take advantage of. Is there a way that we can be on the ground though? And actually, is there a way to each that we can actually organize and take a lot of these different programs that we're doing, these 501c3s that's supposed to support the kids? And I'm not saying that they're not out here, but can we just divide up the city maybe and say, okay, listen, you take this area, you take this area, I got this school, I got this school, and we try to collectively work together so that we can cover these things. We're not going to solve all these problems. We're not. And this is not against any organization. I won't name them. I won't even talk about them by name. I won't do it. I want to make it about the kids. And the one thing that is definitely needed here is love. So I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your spiritual belief is. But if it does not surround love, then you're just wasting your life. And when you die and you have to stand in front of that supreme being, and there is one, and for me, it's my Lord and Savior. I'm not doing this to get any type of recognition. I'm doing this because it's in my spirit, it's in my DNA, and because somebody did it for me. I know a lot of politicians, and that's what they are. They are politicians. I think a lot of them are just for themselves. They're selfish. I see them. They act when needed, when their next election is threatened. But what I need to see is a true concern for our babies, because they're confused, they're hurting, and they are killing each other. If you live in the suburbs, don't think that one day they may not meet. So every kid should be a concern to every man and woman. And I'm going to ask again, where are our gatekeepers? Because every week, one, two, three killings. Look at your news. And if you really want to make a difference, I believe it starts with prayer first. But more than that, it just starts with love and concern. Help me to help others. That's all I'm asking. Where are our gatekeepers? Truth and vision. I'm a gatekeeper.